Well, hello, second graders. It's Mr. Dale here, and let's just talk a little bit about what we're doing next week in language. Next week will be a review week, and we're going to be looking again at the spelling patterns that we've learned so far, genres of story, and we'll be taking another look at possessive nouns. Well, a possessive noun shows who owns something. Who owns something. So let's look at a little illustration here to help us understand. I'm going to draw a little picture here of Mr. Dale. And Mr. Dale owns something. Let me write here Mr. Dale. There's Mr. Dale. Not a very good picture. Well, Mr. Dale owns a red ball. So we got different options. A lot of people will want to write a sentence like the ball of Mr. Dale. But we should be using a possessive noun in our writing. And there is no possessive noun in this sentence, so we really have a bad sentence. So let's look at how we can do it better. Here's another example. A lot of students will want to write, the ball of my friend is red. But we should be using a possessive noun. So we're going to ask, well, who owns the ball? My friend. It's his ball. So we're going to change my friend into a possessive noun. To make it into a possessive noun, we're going to add two things. An apostrophe and an S. And we're going to slide that in behind the noun. My friend's ball is red. Now we've used a possessive noun. Our sentence is much better. Here's another example. The father of Darren is nice. We see this a lot in class. But again, that's not a very nice sentence. We should be using a possessive noun. So we're going to change Darren into a possessive noun. Hope everybody remembers how to do that. We're going to add our apostrophe and our S. Now we have a great sentence. Darren's father is nice. There's our possessive noun, guys. But sometimes we have a plural noun. And in a plural noun, the noun already ends in an S. That's how we make it plural. Here's an example. Dog. Well, dog is singular, but if it's plural, it's actually dogs. So what do we do in a case when the noun already ends in an S? Well, it's really simple, actually. All we do is just put an apostrophe behind the S. And some people might want to put another S over here, but we'll never do that, okay? That looks terrible. We're just going to leave it. Dogs. So when it's plural, we're just going to put the apostrophe after the S. Let's go back to our first example. The beak of the bird is orange. We decided we don't like that sentence, that it would be better to use a possessive noun. The bird's beak is orange. All right. But now we got this plural noun. Now we're using beaks. The beaks of the birds are orange. All right. So birds will be our possessive noun. We're going to bring that over here. But we can't do what we normally do and put an apostrophe S because we already have an S there. So we're just going to slide our apostrophe in right after the S, and that's good enough. We're not going to add another S. Leave it like that. Let's look at a couple examples of things that students quite often have problems with. Contractions. Well, contractions make a word smaller. So when we see a word like he's, some students will want to think that's a possessive noun, but it's not. It is actually a contraction for another two words, that is, he is. So quite often we'll see students write a sentence like, his house is big. This, however, is a contraction. Actually means you're saying he is house is big. And that really doesn't make sense. So instead of using a word like he's, we should be actually using the word his. I'm going to write that in here. His house is big. Well, I hope this helps students a little bit understanding possessive nouns. We will be working again with it in class. Again, possessive nouns, just as a review, are made by placing the noun followed by a apostrophe and an S. And let's look at an example, okay? Dan's house is big. And we should be shooting at using more possessive nouns in our sentence. Well, thank you so much, and we will be continuing this topic next week as well in class.